Hey there. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about your background and what your background can actually reveal about you. Never before have we seen the inside of so many people's homes, from celebrities to television reporters. We're all watching them broadcast from inside their home, right? And so if you're like me, maybe you're trying to read the books that are on their shelves or see what kind of awards that they've won, or maybe even check out the food they have in their pantry if they're in their kitchen. Maybe it's a little creepy, but I guarantee I am not the only one. So your background can actually make a big difference in your presentation. So this is where I broadcast all of my videos and even record and host shows here in my basement office, which is actually my kids' playroom. So I normally, when I'm doing a show called News Quiz, I put the little logo right here. And then when I'm just doing regular stuff, I have the nice set of books there. And so this is sort of how my background looks to you. But take a step back. So you'll see it's not quite as organized as it looks in my little corner that you see of the room, right? This is actually my kids' playroom, so take a look around. This is actually our basement living room and what's turned into my kids' playroom. So take a look around. This is what I'm dealing with. But when you look at my background, you won't see this cluttered mess, any toys, or any distractions, because I've picked a little corner of the basement to call my own and make look at least somewhat professional. So a few simple do's and don'ts when it comes to background. Do make it interesting. If you are just up against a blank wall, it kind of looks like you're broadcasting from inside a prison. Make it interesting. Do use props like plants and books and other things to make your background stand out a little bit, but don't make it distracting. And create depth. Maybe you've heard this before, but when you're backed up against a wall, it just doesn't look good. So if you can create a little bit of depth behind you, that means move away from the wall wherever you are. And if you're like me, if you're kind of backed into a small corner or space in an office or conference room, just turn so like you'll see, I'm in a corner, so it's instant depth. I'm pretty close to this wall, but because I'm turned this way and using that corner, it creates a little bit of depth with this bookshelf here. Some space behind you makes a big difference. Don'ts. Do not use a virtual background. This is a pet peeve of mine when it comes to video calls. Unless you have a professional green screen, those virtual backgrounds just look distracting. And that's what you don't want, is to distract from your message. So it can make like the lines around you jumble around and look real fuzzy, and that's just distracting. We all know you're not broadcasting from the moon and you're not in front of the Golden Gate Bridge. So it's just causing a distraction, and that takes away from the number one thing, which is your message you're trying to convey. Another don't put any type of window behind you. Now, I understand you may not have a choice. If you do have a window or another light source behind you, just close the blinds and try to limit the light that's coming in behind you, because that light can better be used on your face. And when it's behind you, it just darkens your face and makes you look very shadowy. And the other don't is don't have distraction behind you. Another reason to kind of be close to a wall, at least, is that you don't, people, your kids, your husband, whoever, isn't going to walk behind you and create some sort of distraction. So do make it interesting, do use props like books and plants, and do create that depth. Move away from the wall. And don't use that virtual background, don't put a window behind you, and don't have any action or any other distraction behind you. Good luck creating that perfect background.